Today is Tuesday, July 26th. We'll tell you about the latest new evidence from the January 6th committee and what former President Trump says about running for office again. Also, a turning point in Ukraine and some new hope for an endangered species. Plus, a new streaming service for sports fans, a piece of space history that could be yours for the right price, and what the Mega Millions jackpot is up to now. We'll tell you those stories and more news to know. Welcome to The Newsworthy. All the day's news in around 10 minutes. Fast, fair, fun, and on the go. I'm Erica Mandy. Thanks so much for being here. You ready? Let's do this. Today, for the first time since leaving office, former President Trump will return to Washington. He'll give a public policy speech, and it's expected to focus on the former president's future vision. It could signal his possible agenda, as many people believe he's planning to run for president again in 2024. All the while, lawmakers on the January 6th committee are not done releasing evidence about his alleged role in the Capitol riot. Newly released video footage appears to show what Trump did not want to say to America the very next day. Congresswoman Elaine Luria tweeted out the footage yesterday. You can see a screenshot of Trump's speech for January 7th with notes in Trump's handwriting and lines crossed out. For example, one crossed out line said, "Those who became violent and destructive, quote, do not represent me." It's not clear who wrote the original draft of the statement. And remember, lawmakers have already showed outtakes from Trump recording that very speech, where Trump tells staffers he does not want to say the election is over. Over the weekend, Trump called the House committee's investigation a hoax, and he said if he were to announce he was not going to run for office again, it would all go away, but that, quote, "there's no chance I do that." For now, the committee's investigation continues. More hearings are being planned for this fall, as well as a final report. Well, this week, Pope Francis gave a historic apology. While he was in Canada, he said he was deeply sorry for the Catholic Church's role in boarding schools where Indigenous children were abused for decades. The Pope spoke about how the schools forced Native people to assimilate into Christian society, destroyed their cultures, split families, and he also expressed sorrow over the abuse. Then, he called for more investigation and healing. All week, Pope Francis is dedicating his Canadian trip to asking for forgiveness. This is the first time the Pope has framed an entire trip around an apology. Some Indigenous leaders praise the Pope for his efforts, saying they're validation of what really happened. And some survivors say this helps them heal. But others say they still want to hear specific, concrete steps the Church is taking to make amends. Canada has already paid billions of dollars in reparations to Indigenous communities. Millions more have come from Canada's Catholic Church. Ukrainian military leaders say new equipment from the U.S. is making a big difference. That equipment has apparently helped the Ukrainians destroy dozens of Russian ammunition depots. And military officials say there's been a turning point in southern Ukraine. They say Western weapons will help them liberate the Kherson region from the Russians by September. Still, Russia has been stepping up attacks in eastern and northern Ukraine. And Russia's top diplomat also confirmed his country is expanding its military goals, admitting that Russia wants to take down Ukraine's government. Meanwhile, there are new fears of a real economic crisis overseas. Russia now says it'll cut natural gas deliveries through a key pipeline to Europe even more than it already has. Starting this week, the government-owned energy supplier in Russia will only send over about 20% of what the pipeline is equipped to handle. Germany's government says there's no technical reason for that to happen, but it could mean Europe may have to shut down factories and leave homes cold this winter. European officials and analysts think Russia is trying to weaponize gas deliveries in retaliation for the economic sanctions it's facing over its Ukraine invasion. Russian officials say that's not true. Either way, the EU's governing body is pushing for member countries to ration gas to get ready for a winter without the energy supplies they typically need. Tigers are apparently doing much better than previously thought. That's according to a new assessment from the International Union for Conservation of Nature. The IUCN says up to 5,500 tigers are now living in the wild around the world, and that's up 40% from 2015. Granted, the population probably hasn't actually boomed quite that much. Conservation workers say the increase reflects the fact that people have gotten better at counting the tigers, but governments have also stepped up conservation efforts. Experts say tigers are considered endangered because of poaching, habitat loss, and more. Still, they say recovery is possible, and this latest report is a very good sign. He's more than just the voice behind those Planet Earth documentaries. Now, Sir David Attenborough has become an inspiration for scientists in the United Kingdom. They identified a 560-million-year-old fossil. Researchers think it came from the first animal predator and the earliest known creature to have a skeleton. And they just decided to name that animal, and I'm going to do my best to pronounce this, Aurora Lumina Attenboroughi, after the famous broadcaster David Attenborough. They say the animal likely comes from a group of species that today includes jellyfish. The fossil was found in a forest near Leicester, England, where Attenborough used to go fossil hunting. So there is a connection there. Attenborough says he's truly delighted to have gotten the honor. All right, we have more news for you coming up, but first, a quick break for our sponsor. You might imagine that as a journalist and a reporter, I'm the type of person that does a lot of research and asks a lot of questions in all areas of my life. So when I choose a doctor, I need one who is willing to take the time to answer all of my questions. Of course, I also need one who takes my health insurance. Well, ZocDoc makes it easy to find quality doctors in your network and in your neighborhood. Plus, with real verified patient reviews, it can help find the right doctor for you, one that meets your requirements, whether that's taking the time to answer your questions or having the right type of experience or both. ZocDoc is a free app that shows you doctors who are patient-reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them. Every month, millions of people use ZocDoc, and it's one of my go-tos whenever I'm in need of a new doctor. Go to ZocDoc.com/newsworthy and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then start your search for a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc, ZocDoc.com/newsworthy. The NFL has officially launched its own streaming video service. It's called NFL Plus. For the first time, all NFL games, including local ones, will be available through on-the-go streaming. But the live, local, and primetime games, including the playoffs and Super Bowl, will not actually be available on your TV through NFL Plus. They'll only be streaming on phones and tablets. That's because of the league's live TV contracts with various TV networks and even other streaming platforms. For example, Amazon Prime Video now has the rights to its Thursday night games on your TV. All devices will have out-of-market preseason games, though, and the subscription comes with all audio feeds and some on-demand shows. The basic NFL Plus costs $4.99 a month, or you can choose a premium option with some extras like replays and coaches film for $9.99 a month. That premium option will be replacing the NFL Game Pass in the US. So a couple of the biggest names in retail are trying some new things to keep up with the online world we live in. First, Best Buy is opening a new digital-first store today in Monroe, North Carolina. It's said to be only about 15% of the size of a typical Best Buy store, so it's small. And while there will be humans there to help, including the Geek Squad, Best Buy is trying out a new shopping experience. Customers can shop, get advice, and check out using screens. For example, if you want some grab-and-go items, you can just use Best Buy's app to scan and pay all on your phone. Then there's Target, expanding its efforts to offer home deliveries that are faster for the customer and cheaper for the company. Target will open 3 new package sorting centers during the next year, 2 in the greater Chicago area and 1 near Denver. And that brings the total to 9 around the country. These delivery hubs essentially get goods from Target stores, then forward them to customers who ordered them online. And gig workers using their personal cars help with the process. The company hopes to cut down on shipping costs as it tries to keep up with the likes of Amazon and Walmart, since more Americans are shopping online. Legendary astronaut Buzz Aldrin is putting some of his famous space gear up for auction today. For example, the jacket he wore during the Apollo 11 mission to the moon and back. It's the only piece of clothing from that mission available for private ownership. Others are in the Smithsonian. The jacket alone is expected to go for up to $2 million. Other highlights of the auction today include the broken circuit breaker switch that could have stranded the Apollo 11 crew in space, as well as the felt-tip pen Aldrin used to ignite the engine instead of that broken switch. That saved the crew's lives and let them complete the mission that put the first man on the moon. Oh, and there's pages of the flight plan, his Presidential Medal of Freedom, and a lot more. The auction house Sotheby's says these items are among the most significant and valuable space exploration artifacts to ever be offered at auction. Sotheby's will be taking bids from the sale room, by phone, and online starting today at noon Eastern. The Mega Millions jackpot is up again. No one has won the jackpot since mid-April, so it's now $810 million. That's That's the fourth largest lottery prize of all time and the third largest Mega Millions prize ever. The next drawing is tonight. Well, that's it for the main news today. So now it's time for Trivia Tuesday, when we ask a different trivia question every week. But first, this podcast is sponsored by Indeed. No one knows exactly what tomorrow's headlines will be, except for the people who shape them. Well, in business, if you want to make a positive impact for tomorrow, you need to hire great people fast. You need Indeed. With Indeed, you can find great talent faster through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessments, and virtual interviews. And there's data to show why it's a great hiring partner. Talent Nest found that Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined, and that it's the #1 source of hires in the United States. ComScore found that 81% of U.S. online job seekers search for jobs on Indeed each month. Plus, when you sponsor an Indeed post, you're 4.5 times more likely to get a hire, according to Indeed's data worldwide. Indeed is doing something no other job site has done. Now with Indeed, businesses only pay for quality applications matching the sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/newsworthy to start hiring now. Just go to Indeed.com/newsworthy. Indeed.com/newsworthy. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. Okay, now back to Trivia Tuesday. Today's trivia question is, who was the world's first cloned animal named after in 1996? You can answer the question and play along with us over on Instagram. Find and follow us at NewsworthyPod. You'll see the trivia question and the news quiz for today in our stories. And by the way, when you do follow us on Instagram, you can also expect to get some extra news stories each day that don't make the cut here on the podcast, along with other fun photos and behind the scenes. Again, you can find us at NewsworthyPod. We would love to connect with you there. All right, as for last week's trivia question, what country has the national language with the longest alphabet? The answer is Cambodia. Cambodia's national language is Khmer, and about 16 million people speak it in Cambodia, Thailand, and Vietnam. But it's probably not an easy language to learn since it has 74 letters. Another unique thing about the Khmer language, words in a sentence are written together without any space in between them. Spaces are only used in a sentence where we might put commas in English. But there are some things that are similar to English. For example, Khmer is written from left to right, and their numbers go from 0 to 9. All right, thank you so much for listening today, and thank you to our Newsworthy Insiders for all of your support. If you're not an insider yet and you want to become one, you can get ad-free episodes. Learn more and sign up at thenewsworthy.com/insider. Or support us by simply spreading the word about the show. We depend on you, our listeners, to help make this podcast possible. So no matter what, we are so grateful that you're here right now listening. Okay, we'll be back with another news roundup tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.